Here's what nobody tells you about survival. When disaster strikes, the gear that saves you isn't tactical. It's boring, it's cheap, and it's sitting on Walmart's bottom shelf right now. March 2020. The world flipped upside down, and you weren't rushing to buy tactical gear or $300 survival knives. Nope, you were fighting over toilet paper, bleach, and 99-cent bar soap. The cheap stuff flew off the shelves, while overpriced prepper gear sat there collecting dust. I'm Salah. I've been prepping since 2014, and let me tell you something most survival experts won't. The stuff that actually saves you in a crisis isn't in the tactical aisle. It's on the bottom shelf at Walmart. It's the everyday basics that cost less than your morning coffee. And guess what? It's happening again. CNBC warned in April 2025 that trade wars are hammering budget goods first. Household items, cheap imports, the stuff you actually use. Manufacturers are hoarding supplies, and shortages are already creeping in. The penny hoarder just dropped a list of 11 everyday products facing immediate shortages. Not fancy gear, not $500 flashlights, basic, dirt-cheap essentials. Today, I'm breaking down 20 items you can grab for under $5, some under $1, that will save your butt when winter gets weird. Stock them, rotate them, barter with them. And number 14, it costs 35 cents, lasts 30 years, and will be worth more than silver when the grid goes down. Forget expensive. Smart prepping is about essentials. Let me show you what that looks like. Let's kick this off with a classic that's vanishing faster than you think. Strike Anywhere matches. You know, the kind your grandpa used to light his pipe or campfire. These aren't your average matches that need a striker strip. These bad boys ignite on concrete, rocks, or even the zipper of your jacket. No batteries, no fuel, no fancy technique, just fire every single time. Here's the problem. They're disappearing. Thanks to DOT shipping restrictions, most stores can't even stock them anymore. The few places you might still find them, Rural King, some Walmarts, and occasionally Dollar Tree. That's it. I learned this the hard way last winter when I went to restock. 3 stores later, I came up empty-handed. The shipping rules changed, and suddenly, these matches became a rare commodity. Now, you might be thinking, it's just matches. How important can they be? Let me tell you, when the grid goes down, fire is everything. It's your heat, your light, your way to cook food and purify water. And when your hands are freezing and shaking, the last thing you want is to fumble with a ferro rod or some overpriced gadget. You want something that works on the first try. Here's what I do. I buy 10 to 20 boxes whenever I find them at 97 cents a box. That's a $10 to $20 investment that could save your life. Store them in mason jars with desiccant packets to keep them dry, and they'll last indefinitely. I also bundle 50 matches at a time and stash them in waterproof pill bottles. I've got them everywhere. My truck, my bug-out bag, my kitchen drawer, even my workshop. And for barter, a single match can be worth a can of food when someone's desperate for fire. Trust me, these little sticks of fire are worth their weight in gold when things go south. Next up, plain old bleach. Not the fancy splashless kind, not the scented stuff, just regular, boring sodium hypochlorite bleach. Remember the early days of COVID? Bleach vanished from shelves right alongside toilet paper. Why? Because when people panic, they remember what actually kills germs. But here's the thing most people don't realize. Bleach isn't just for cleaning counters. It's a water purification powerhouse. 8 drops per gallon of water, wait 30 minutes, and you've got safe drinking water. That's it. No fancy filters, no expensive tablets, just 8 drops. At $1.50 per gallon, bleach is the cheapest water purification method you'll ever find. Compare that to those overpriced purification tablets that cost 50 cents per gallon. Bleach wins every time. Now here's the catch. Bleach breaks down over time. At full strength, it lasts about 6 months. After that, it starts to weaken, but it's still usable. Just double the amount you use. I label every bottle with the purchase month using a grease pencil and rotate my stock every 6 months. And don't worry, when bleach breaks down, it just turns into salt water. It's not dangerous, just less effective. The big mistake people make? Buying the wrong kind. Splashless and scented bleaches have additives that aren't safe for water purification. You want the plain, bottom shelf stuff. Walmart's Great Value brand is perfect. $1.50 per gallon. I keep 4 to 6 gallons in rotation at all times. Use the oldest, replace it, and keep the cycle going. Here's why this matters. When supply chains break, bleach gets price gouged fast. During COVID, I saw it selling for $10 to $15 per gallon in some areas.
Don't wait for that to happen again. Stock up now. If there's one item that deserves more respect in the prepping world, it's white vinegar. This stuff is the ultimate multitasker, and it costs less than $3 a gallon. Cleaning? Check. Food preservation? Check. First aid? You bet. And unlike bleach, vinegar never goes bad. I've got bottles from 2015 that are still perfectly fine. Here's why most preppers overlook it. It's too simple, too cheap, too boring. But when you can't get to a store, vinegar becomes a lifesaver. You can make pickling brine to preserve vegetables for months without refrigeration. You can clean every surface in your house, soften your laundry, and even kill weeds in your garden. Got athlete's foot or a sunburn? Vinegar's got you covered. And let's not forget, it's food grade. You can cook with it, preserve with it, and clean with it. Try doing that with commercial cleaners. But there's one critical rule. Never mix vinegar with bleach, ever. The combination creates chlorine gas, which can kill you. Use them separately and rinse between applications. The best deals? Walmart's distilled white vinegar runs $2.48 to $2.78 per gallon. Costco sometimes has 2-gallon packs for $5. I keep at least 5 gallons on hand because it's so easy to store. It doesn't degrade in heat or light, so you can stash it anywhere. Want a pro tip? Mix a gallon of vinegar with a cup of salt and a tablespoon of dish soap. It's the best weed killer you'll ever use, and it costs maybe $3 total. Compare that to $25 for a bottle of Roundup. Most people have one bottle of vinegar under their sink and think that's enough. It's not. Stock up. This stuff is liquid versatility and is practically free. Let's talk about disposable lighters. Everyone knows about them, but almost nobody stockpiles them correctly. Here's what changed my thinking. During COVID, lighters got surprisingly hard to find. Not impossible, but scarce enough that gas stations were charging $2 to $3 for a single Bic. Meanwhile, before the shortage, you could get them for 25 cents each at Dollar Tree. That price difference, that's what we're prepping for right now. You can buy a 100-pack of Bic lighters online for $18 to $25. That's 25 cents per lighter for a reliable fire starter that lasts over 10 years in storage. Each lighter gives you about 3,000 lights. But here's the thing. Don't cheap out on no-name brands. I've tested this, and the failure rate on generic lighters is about 10 times higher than Bic. Spend the extra 10 cents per lighter. You'll thank yourself when they actually work. Here's my system. I bought a 100-pack 2 years ago and distributed them everywhere. 10 in my truck, 10 in my bug-out bag, 10 in the kitchen, 10 in the workshop, and the rest in storage. When I grab a lighter and it's dead, I toss it in a used container and pull from my stockpile. For barter, lighters are gold. When the grid's down and everyone needs fire multiple times a day, a single lighter can trade for serious goods. One lighter can get you 1 to 3 cans of food, depending on how desperate people are. One critical warning. Don't store lighters in hot vehicles or direct sunlight. Butane expands and they can leak or even explode. Keep them in a cool, dry place and they'll last for years. Let's talk about bar soap, the forgotten hero of hygiene. When's the last time you saw someone actually using bar soap? Everyone's obsessed with liquid body wash and those fancy foaming hand soap dispensers, but here's the truth. Bar soap is superior in every way. It lasts longer, costs less, doesn't spill, and never expires. During the chaos of COVID, when liquid soap vanished from shelves, bar soap was still sitting there, untouched. Why? Because most people under 40 don't even think to use it anymore. That's their mistake and your opportunity. A single 4-ounce bar gives you 75 to 100 hand washes or 15 to 20 full showers. That's the equivalent of 3 or 4 bottles of liquid soap, and it costs a fraction of the price. At Dollar Tree, you can grab bars for as little as 42 cents each. Show me a bottle of liquid soap that cheap. But wait, it gets better. Bar soap isn't just for washing your hands. Grate it with a cheese grater, mix it with hot water, washing soda, and borax, and you've got 2 gallons of homemade laundry detergent for under $1. Compare that to the $8 to $15 you'd spend on commercial detergent. And don't fall for the antibacterial marketing gimmick. Plain soap works just as well at killing bacteria through scrubbing action, and it's way cheaper. Here's my system. I keep 30 to 50 bars in rotation at all times. That's a $15 to $25 investment that covers my family's hygiene needs for an entire year. To make them last even longer, let the bars age in open cardboard boxes for 6 months before sealing them up. They harden over time, which means they'll last even longer in use.
And for barter, soap is non-negotiable. Everyone needs it every single day. In a crisis, a single bar of soap could trade for food, water, or other essentials. Stock up now, because when the shelves are empty, you'll be glad you did. We all remember the great toilet paper panic of 2020. People were fighting over rolls like their lives depended on it. And yet, here we are in 2025, and most people still don't have an adequate backup supply. They lived through the chaos, the embarrassment of asking neighbors for a roll, and then promptly forgot about it 6 months later. Don't be that person. Here's the math. A family of 4 needs 200 to 240 rolls of toilet paper per year. That's about 50 rolls per person annually. For a 3-month emergency supply, you're looking at 80 to 100 rolls. It's not as overwhelming as it sounds. The key is to build your stockpile gradually. Buy 1 or 2 extra packs every time you shop and rotate through your supply by using the oldest rolls first. Storage is where most people screw up. Don't leave your toilet paper in cardboard packaging in the garage. Moisture and rodents will destroy it faster than you think. Invest in large plastic storage totes, which cost $8 to $12 each. A 30-pack of toilet paper fits perfectly in a 20-gallon tote. Stack them under beds, in closets, or in the corner of your garage. Let's talk cost. Dollar Tree sells 4 packs for $1, which comes out to $0.25 per roll. Walmart's 12 mega roll packs run about 50 cents per roll. It's not expensive, but during COVID, people were paying $25 for a 12-pack when they could find it. Don't wait for the next crisis to stock up. Pro tip: install a basic bidet attachment for $20. It reduces your toilet paper consumption by 75%. You'll still need a backup supply for when water is limited, but your stockpile will last 4 times longer. Be smart about this. Toilet paper isn't glamorous, but it's essential. Salt. It's so cheap and abundant today that most people don't even think about it. But throughout history, salt was worth its weight in gold. Roman soldiers were paid in it, wars were fought over it, and entire trade routes were built around it. Why? Because salt is essential for human survival and has thousands of uses. Here's the reality. You can buy a 50-pound bag of salt for $20. That's 40 cents per pound for something that never expires and can literally save your life. You need 2 types. Iodized table salt for daily consumption because iodine is critical for thyroid function, and non-iodized pickling salt for food preservation. The iodine in table salt messes with preservation chemistry, so don't mix them up. Most preppers make the mistake of stockpiling hundreds of pounds of food, but only a few pounds of salt. Then they realize too late that food preservation requires massive amounts of it. 5 pounds of salt might preserve 20 pounds of food. That's it. You're going to need way more than that. The best move? Hit up a restaurant supply store. A 50-pound bag of pickling salt runs $20 to $25, compared to $2 to $3 per pound at retail. Store it in 5-gallon buckets with Gamma Seal lids to keep it dry. Pull from your bulk supply into smaller containers for daily use. Salt isn't just for food. Mix it with vinegar for an effective weed killer. Use it to melt ice down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Make a salt paste to remove rust or sanitize cutting boards. It even extinguishes grease fires. In a grid-down scenario, salt's value skyrockets. Stock deep on this one. Aluminum foil is one of the most underrated survival items out there. Most people think it's just for wrapping leftovers, but it's so much more than that. A single roll of heavy-duty foil can solve dozens of problems in a crisis, and it costs just $3 to $6. Let's start with cooking. You can use foil to cook food directly on coals, wrap it for preservation, or even create a basic solar oven. Need emergency insulation? Line your coat or sleeping bag with foil for an instant heat boost. Collecting rainwater? Shape foil into a funnel. Need to signal for help? Foil reflects sunlight for miles. The key is to buy heavy-duty foil. Regular foil tears and punctures too easily, especially when you're using it for survival tasks. Reynolds heavy-duty foil is the gold standard. It costs $1 or $2 more per roll, but it's worth it. It lasts 3 times longer and holds up under real-world use. Foil has an indefinite shelf life, as long as you keep it dry. It takes up almost no space, weighs next to nothing, and has over 50 legitimate survival applications. For barter, it's moderately malleable. Everyone needs cooking solutions when utilities are down, and foil is a lifesaver. Stock at least 3 to 5 rolls. You'll be amazed at how many problems this simple item can solve. From cooking to insulation to emergency signaling, aluminum foil is the prep item nobody talks about, but everyone wishes they had. Let's get real. Duct tape is the Swiss Army knife of the prepping world. Everyone knows about it, but most people don't take it seriously enough. They've got one dusty roll sitting in a drawer somewhere and think they're prepared. Spoiler alert, you're not. Duct tape can repair just about anything: gear, clothing, shelter, vehicles, but it's also a lifesaver in emergency medical situations. You can use it to make butterfly bandages, splint broken bones, secure dressings, waterproof leaks, or even build an emergency shelter. Tear it into strips, and it works as improvised cordage. Here's the catch. Duct tape doesn't last forever. Its adhesive has a shelf life of about 1 to 3 years if stored optimally, and maybe 5 to 10 years if you keep it cool and dry. That roll sitting in your hot garage for 6 years is probably useless now. When you need it most, it won't stick. My solution? Gorilla Tape. It's like duct tape on steroids. The adhesive is stronger, it lasts longer in storage, and it even sticks to wet surfaces. Sure, it costs a bit more, $6 to $8 per roll compared to $3 to $4 for regular duct tape, but it's worth every penny. I recommend keeping at least 3 to 5 rolls on hand. Rotate them out by using the oldest roll for everyday projects and saving the fresh ones for emergencies. For barter, duct tape is gold. It's a universal repair solution that everyone needs, but few people stockpile adequately. When things go sideways, you don't want to be the person with one crusty old roll that's lost its stickiness. Stock up now, because duct tape isn't just a tool, it's a survival essential. Trash bags might not sound exciting, but when the sanitation systems fail, they become critical. And I'm not talking about those flimsy kitchen bags that rip if you look at them wrong. I'm talking about heavy-duty contractor trash bags, the 3 mil thick ones that can handle serious abuse. These bags aren't just for waste management. They're a multi-purpose survival tool. Let's start with the obvious: waste disposal. When the trash stops getting picked up, you'll need a way to manage your garbage and keep your living space sanitary. But that's just the beginning. Cut arm and head holes, and you've got an emergency raincoat. Layer them together, and you've got a makeshift shelter or waterproof ground cover. Use them to transport water, organize and protect gear, or even create quarantine barriers. In a pinch, they can serve as a sleeping bag liner to keep you dry and warm. The key is to buy multiple sizes. You'll need 13-gallon bags for daily waste, 30-gallon bags for general use, and 55-gallon bags for the heavy-duty stuff. And don't cheap out. Contractor-grade bags are built to last, while regular bags tear under any real stress. A box of 50 to 100 bags will run you $8 to $15, which breaks down to about 10 cents to 30 cents a bag. During COVID, these bags didn't disappear as fast as toilet paper, but they definitely got scarce. Their shelf life is indefinite as long as you store them properly. For barter, they have moderate to high value during sanitation crises, which is exactly when you'll need them the most. I keep 200 bags in rotation across multiple sizes. It sounds like a lot until you're in an extended emergency and burning through 5 to 10 bags a day. Trust me, you'll be glad you stocked up. Plastic sheeting might not sound exciting, but when you think of prepping, it's a game changer.
This isn't the flimsy drop cloth you use for painting. I'm talking about heavy-duty, 6 mil construction plastic. It's your go-to solution for heat retention, emergency shelter, and so much more. Picture this. A winter storm blows out your windows. How are you keeping the heat in? Plastic sheeting. Need to section off a room to conserve heat? Plastic sheeting. Building an emergency shelter or windbreak? You guessed it, plastic sheeting. This stuff traps heat like a champ. When the power's out and temperatures drop, you can seal off a single room, use a small heat source, and maintain livable temperatures. Without it, you're trying to heat your entire house, which is impossible without utilities. A 10-foot by 25-foot roll costs $15 to $30 at hardware stores. That's 50 cents per square foot of emergency protection. But it's not just for heat. You can use it to collect rainwater, create quarantine barriers, or protect supplies from moisture. Its shelf life is 5 to 10 years if stored indoors away from UV light, which degrades it over time. For barter, plastic sheeting is high value during winter emergencies. If someone's windows are blown out and they're freezing, this stuff becomes priceless. I recommend buying at least 1 or 2 large rolls now. When that first major winter storm hits, everyone will remember they need it and the shelves will empty fast. Zip ties, cable ties, whatever you call them, they're one of the most underrated items in your prepper arsenal. These little plastic strips might seem insignificant, but they're incredibly versatile.
For $5 to $12, you can get a pack of 100 zip ties in assorted sizes, and they'll solve problems you didn't even know you had. Need to secure gear? Zip ties. Quick fix for a broken strap, handle, or hinge? Zip ties. Bundling firewood, organizing supplies, or repairing a fence? Zip ties. They're even useful in emergencies. Think improvised handcuffs for security, or a last resort tourniquet when you've got nothing else. The key is to buy assorted packs with multiple sizes. Small ties are perfect for light-duty tasks, while larger ones can handle serious jobs. If you're using them outdoors, go for UV-resistant black zip ties. They last much longer in sunlight compared to the standard white ones. Zip ties have a shelf life of 10+ years, so you can stockpile them without worrying about them going bad. For barter, they're low value individually, but high value when you're trading a pack of 20 or 50. Everyone needs fasteners eventually, and when they do, zip ties are a lifesaver. I keep 500 to 1,000 zip ties in my stockpile. That might sound excessive, but once you start using them, you'll realize how fast they disappear. They take up almost no space. A gallon-sized bag can hold hundreds. This is the prep item that costs next to nothing, but solves 1,000 problems. Stock up now, and you'll thank me later. If you're serious about prepping, paracord is non-negotiable. But not just any paracord. Real 550 paracord, the kind with 7 inner strands plus the outer sheath. This isn't just a rope, it's 8 ropes in one. Those inner strands, they're lifesavers. Use them for fishing line, sewing, snares, or even emergency sutures. The outer cord, perfect for shelter building, securing gear, lashing, or even as a clothesline. Here's the deal. Cheap knockoff paracord is everywhere. The stuff you find at dollar stores or big box retailers often only has 3 strands inside and snaps under real pressure. Don't waste your money. Real 550 paracord costs $8 to $20 for 100 feet, depending on the brand and quality. It's worth every penny. Colors matter too. Olive drab or black is great for tactical concealment, while bright colors like orange or yellow are ideal for signaling or marking trails. I keep both in my stockpile because you never know what situation you'll face. Paracord has a shelf life of decades if stored dry, making it a long-term investment. For barter, it's moderately valuable because rope is always in demand. My personal system? I stockpile at least 300 feet, 3 100-foot lengths. It's lightweight, compact, and solves problems that nothing else can. Whether you're building a shelter, repairing gear, or improvising a snare, paracord is the tool you'll reach for again and again. Don't skimp on this one.
Bandanas might seem old-fashioned, but they're one of the most versatile items you can stockpile. For as little as $1 to $3 each, or even cheaper if you buy in bulk, you get a piece of gear that can handle dozens of survival tasks. And here's the kicker, they last forever. Cotton doesn't degrade, so a bandana you buy today will still be useful 30 years from now. What can you do with a bandana? A better question is what can't you do? Use it as a wound dressing, a pre-filter for water, a face mask, a tourniquet, or a sling. Need a hat, a pot holder, or a signal flag? Bandana. Tear it into strips for cordage, or use it as camouflage. The possibilities are endless. The key is to buy plain cotton bandanas, none of that synthetic fashion forward nonsense. Real cotton absorbs, filters, and holds up to hard use. I stockpiled 20 to 30 bandanas in a mix of colors. Bright red and orange are great for signaling, while olive drab and black work for tactical situations. White bandanas are perfect for medical applications. For barter, bandanas have moderate value because everyone needs cloth for something, hygiene, medical, or utility. And they weigh almost nothing, take up no space, and cost next to nothing. If you're not stockpiling bandanas, you're missing out on one of the cheapest, most versatile survival tools out there. Let's talk about something most preppers completely overlook. Disposable razors. Sounds non-essential, right? Wrong. When you haven't shaved for 3 months and you're starting to look like a castaway, you'll realize how much it affects your morale. Shaving isn't just about vanity. It's about hygiene, normalcy, and maintaining your mental health during a crisis. Dollar Tree sells 10 packs of disposable razors for $1.25. That's just 12 cents per razor. For $15, you can build a year's supply. And here's the thing, razors aren't just for shaving. They're also handy for cutting cord, opening packages, or even as a last resort survival tool.
For barter, razors have surprisingly high value. Personal grooming matters to people, especially during hard times. A clean-shaven face can make a huge difference if you're trying to maintain a professional appearance or take on a leadership role in your community. Razors have an indefinite shelf life, though the blades can dull slightly if stored in humid conditions. Keep them dry and sealed in gallon-sized Ziploc bags. I recommend stockpiling 50 to 100 razors. Rotate through them for daily use, and you'll always have a fresh supply. Here's the bottom line. Everyone stockpiles food and gear, but basic hygiene items like razors often get forgotten. Don't make that mistake. They're cheap, they last forever, and they matter more than you think. Half the population needs feminine hygiene products every month, yet they're one of the most overlooked items in prepper stockpiles. During COVID, these vanished from shelves just like everything else, leaving women scrambling. Don't let that happen to your household. A box of pads or tampons costs $3 to $8, depending on the brand and quantity. For a 6 to 12-month supply per female in your household, you're looking at $50 to $150 total. That's a small price to pay for something so essential. The primary use is obvious, but these products have survival applications too. Pads can double as sterile wound dressings. They're designed to be absorbent and bacteria-free. They can also pre-filter water before purification, serve as fire tender, or even be used for insulation in a pinch. For barter, feminine hygiene products have extremely high value. This is a non-negotiable need, and most people don't stockpile it adequately. During a crisis, these items can trade for food, water, or other essentials. Shelf life is indefinite if kept dry. Store them in sealed plastic totes to protect them from moisture and rotate your stock by using the oldest first. And guys, listen up. Just because this doesn't apply to you personally doesn't mean you should ignore it. Your wife, daughters, or neighbors will need these. Be the person who planned ahead. Pads are more versatile than tampons for survival purposes, so double up on those. The wound dressing capability alone makes them worth the investment. Stock up now because when the shelves are empty, these will be worth their weight in gold. Let's talk about Ziploc freezer bags. Not the flimsy storage bags that rip if you look at them wrong, but the heavy-duty freezer bags that actually hold up under pressure. These bags are thicker, seal better, and don't tear as easily, making them indispensable in any prepper's arsenal. A box of 25 to 50 bags costs $3 to $6, and trust me, you'll need hundreds of them.
The obvious use is food storage, but these bags do so much more. Use them to waterproof important documents, electronics, or first aid supplies. Organize small gear so it doesn't get lost. Portion out rations to prevent food waste. You can even use them for boil-and-bag cooking to conserve fuel, or fill them with water and freeze them for emergency ice packs. The possibilities are endless. Here's the key. Always buy freezer bags, not regular storage bags. The plastic is thicker, the seals are stronger, and they're far more durable. Sure, they cost a little more, 50 cents to $1 extra per box, but they're worth every penny. Shelf life? Easily 5 to 10 years. They might yellow slightly with age, but they'll still work just fine. For barter, freezer bags have moderate value. Food storage becomes critical during a crisis, and these bags are perfect for portion control when refrigeration fails. Imagine trying to ration peanut butter or rice without a way to seal it properly. I keep 200 to 300 bags in multiple sizes. Gallon and quart are the most versatile. That's a $20 to $30 investment that covers food preservation, organization, and waterproofing for months. Don't underestimate the power of a good Ziploc bag. Baking soda is one of those items that's so cheap and versatile, it's almost criminal not to stockpile it. For 50 cents to $2 per box, you get a product that handles medical, cleaning, and cooking tasks with ease. If you're serious about prepping, skip the small boxes and go straight for the big bags at Costco or Sam's Club. You can get 5 to 10 pounds for $5 to $8. What can baking soda do? A better question is, what can it do? Use it to clean and deodorize just about anything. Smother a grease fire with it. Mix a quarter teaspoon in water for instant heartburn relief. Out of toothpaste? Baking soda has you covered. Make a paste to clean stubborn stains or boost your laundry detergent for brighter clothes. And of course, it's essential for baking.